Hi guys, welcome back to Nyx Reads. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to subscribe if you love watching bookish videos, and give this video a like if you enjoy watching single book reviews. Today I'm doing one of my short, spoiler-free book reviews for Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, which came out this August 2023. This is the second novel by the Mexican-American author who holds a doctorate in Near Eastern languages and civilizations. If you already read this book and just want to see what other people think of it, leave me a comment down below. So what is the story even about besides vampires, since that is very clearly mentioned in the title? So the story, to begin with, is set in the 1840s at the border of Mexico, where there's a lot of political tension and a lot of conflicts between the Anglo settlers and the Mexican ranchers in this case. Our first main character is Nena, who's the daughter of a rancher. Our other main character is Nestor, who is a childhood friend of Nena's. They grew up together on the ranch, but he has a much lower status than Nena. That is our main setup. And because I personally like to keep my book summaries in my videos even shorter than the book summaries you see on the back of the books, I will just say that something happens in these two characters' childhood that pulls them apart, and for 9 years they lose sight of each other. Something horrible happens to these characters and they go from being best friends and seeing their future together to not talking and seeing each other for 9 years at a time. And that is where the story really picks up. Nestor and Nena are both in the beginning of their 20s, and Nena is actually training to be a curandera, which is a healer for her community. She is very determined to be a person with her own faith and destiny, and to be able to make her own decisions and prove her value to her father, because he sees her as just a pawn basically to marry off to another rancher to forge better alliances. Nestor, on the other hand, goes off to be a vaquero and basically does freelance work on different kinds of ranches and tries to build his own wealth and future. Now let's talk about expectations for this book. This novel is being positioned first and foremost as a horror novel, and I also see it positioned in historical fiction, which is correct, and also in the romance section, but mainly I see it under horror. I believe that that allocation to that genre, plus the title having the word vampire in it, I think can spike a lot of interest for horror readers who then expect a lot of spooky elements, gory elements that will scare the shit out of you. Probably expecting something heart-pounding and something very fast-paced, right? I will say that this is not where this book is leaning towards. If you're expecting that out of this book, you might be a little disappointed and you might be let down and a bit bored, possibly. In my opinion, what you actually get is a slow burn romance, first and foremost, with a historical fiction backdrop and some horror elements in it, including the vampires. The horror part really takes a backseat to the political tension and especially the romance. So if you're thinking about picking up this book, I'm warning you, pick it up for the right reasons. Don't pick it up because you want a super thrilling read. My own rating for this book was a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely enjoyed it. I ate this book up, and part of that was because I went into this having an idea of this is probably going to be more a slower book. I read the first book from the author, which is honestly quite similar vibe-wise to this one. This is mostly a love story, years and years in the making. There is so much growth in these characters, and you're also dealing with very emotionally mature characters, I would say. That is an aspect that I really enjoyed. My favorite part of this book is whenever we were in Nestor's or Nena's head and they are thinking about what was, what is, and what could be in the future. That journey of reflection and how their thoughts pretty much come full circle. How conscious they are of the trauma that they've been through and what the other person has been through, and also what they want from themselves or for themselves. It's so satisfying. It really was such a treat for me to witness these characters coming to their own conclusions, especially because I pretty much always agreed with everything, because it was just so cleverly done. I really felt like these characters were never acting on a whim. There was a lot of thought and looking inside yourself for everything they were saying and doing, and even if sometimes they acted out of affect, there was a reasoning behind it. I could have lived inside their heads for another 100 or 200 pages. I really enjoyed that. And also, I could really feel the heat between these two characters. I thought that the author did such a good job in building the chemistry. This is not a spicy novel whatsoever. This is honestly the best will they, won't they type of story I read so far. So that obviously is the main reason why I gave this such a high rating, but also it came very well together with some of the horror elements, which again is not a lot, but I think they were an effective device. And also everything that had to do with the political tensions, also just the nature writing and descriptions of how the people lived in that time, what they were eating, what they were wearing, what they were growing in their gardens. I think it really led to a very full-fledged picture, and I could really see it. While we have two very clear main characters, I think that the side characters were also well crafted and they had a mind of their own. They weren't just stand-ins for an idea that existed to bring the story forward. The reason why I couldn't give it quite 5 stars is because there is a point in the story where we're getting closer and closer to the political tensions, a certain adventure and turn of the story, but then we kind of back off from that, we circle back, we focus back on the romance. So I think a little bit more of, let's say, the war situation and the battles, I think could have added something to the story. Another interesting aspect is I had the luxury of looking back at my book review for the author's first horror novel, which is The Hacienda, because I have it uploaded on my channel as well. You can watch it if you want. And I had 2 big critique points for that debut. The first one is the lack of characterization, both outer appearance but also the personality of the characters. And then the second one was that I found that a character arc was missing for the main character in the first book. And I'm so happy to say that for this second book, for Vampires of El Norte, Isabel Cañas really improved both of these points immensely. They were so well done in the second book. So I'm honestly, yeah, very pleased. So good job on the author, in my opinion. And I can't wait to read a third book by this author because I think it can only get better from here. Now, who is this book for? I'd say this is for a reader who loves a non-spicy romance with lots and lots of pining, and for a reader who likes elements of gothic horror. On the other hand, if you're looking for something heart-poundingly fast-paced and something with lots of thrills and gore, then this is not your choice. You're probably not gonna like this book. If you're still watching this video, why don't you leave me a vampire emoji? Thank you for listening to my short book review. This is me basically gushing about this book. Let me know if you're now interested to pick up this book, or if you've read it, did you like it? And if not, let me know the reasons why you didn't enjoy it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to watch more videos about books, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.